Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. Today we're going to be working on this 2005 Chevy Trailblazer. Today I will be showing you how to replace the radiator. As you can see here, it's been patched up with some JB Weld or something similar, and that's only a temporary fix. You need to replace it like we're going to do today. So how you're supposed to do this job, not a lot of people do it that way, but you're supposed to take all of this stuff off, and it's just a long process, and today I'm going to show you one of two ways to take it out without having to deal with all that. Okay, what makes this so difficult is the fan and the fan shroud have to come out together, and Chevy put their radiator hose right here, so if you try to pull up, you don't have the clearance here. You just won't have the clearance. So there's two things you can do. On a customer's car, you never want to cut it, but if it's your own car, you may do like the previous owner, or maybe even this owner has done, and cut out a little slot here for this to come up and out. That way it doesn't bother it. If this wasn't already cut like this, then this is exactly how I would do it. You go back here to the fan clutch. There's 4 bolts holding it on, as you can see there. I'd break them all loose first, and then I would go ahead and break that big nut loose that holds the whole fan on there, and then that will give you enough leverage to like pull this up and out. It's still pretty tight fit, but if you do it that way and take this clutch all the way off, you can actually wiggle it out. Okay, so what we're going to do first is drain the coolant. Remember, this is a very sweet taste to dogs and animals, so you definitely want to have a catch pan and catch all the coolant and recycle it. It's good for the earth, and you don't want to kill any animals or humans with it. Okay, so there's 2 clips, one right there, and one right there. We're going to take those off now. Okay, so you just want to get some pliers. Looks like he was low on coolant. Okay, so I don't know if this is stuck or not. If it is, take a pick and go around and just break that seal. Yeah, it's stuck, so that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so we're just going to use a hook like this. Be careful not to puncture it. Want to get under it like that, and just break the seal all the way around it. Now that you broke the seal, it should come on out. Just like that. Okay, so now we got to remove this 10mm here. This is actually broke, or else you'd have to remove this. It's the sensor. And then over here is another 10mm. We need to take those out now. So here's our first one. Okay, so now we're going to break loose the fan from the water pump. To do this, we are going to be using a kit. You can actually rent this from Vance Auto or AutoZone or anywhere else, but it comes with a bunch of different wrenches. It's too big. There we go. So the one we want is 1 inch and 7/16. 1 7/16 is what we need. So with that wrench set, you can actually rent it for free from them, you will have to put down a deposit, so maybe $100, 150. But as soon as you bring it back, as long as nothing's damaged, you'll get your money back. So it's essentially a free tool. The other tool we'll be using is this right here. This will hold on to the bolts so we can actually apply force. We'll grab the bolts of the water pump. We're going to be holding it, giving it force this way while we crack it loose like that. Okay, so we're going to take out 2 of these bolts for our tool to get a hold of. They're 13 millimeter. One's broke loose. Once you got them broke loose, spin them out by hand. Okay, now we can get our tool in there. There we go, we broke it loose. Now that we broke it loose, we're just going to sit here and turn it. Now, so I'll unplug it since it's not fully broke yet. This little cut right here will save you so much time and headache, because pulling that up, as you could see, it came right out. Without that, one, it wouldn't come out unless you took off the fan clutch and removed it backwards a little bit for clearance. Okay, so without that hole, if you don't cut that hole out, if it wasn't there, what I would have done is take this fan clutch off. It's 4 13mm bolts. You break each one loose and then just undo it. And then sometimes it gets stuck, so you'd have to tap it with a screwdriver or something. But then that would give you a little bit of extra room to make it by everything, because you could push this in and just wiggle it out. Okay, so what we're going to do now is remove two 13mm bolts right here to get rid of this block. Okay, so we're going to take these out right here. Take a 10mm, get this one off. Now we'll go to this side, take this 10mm off. Switch back to a 13mm. And finally take this one out right here, 10mm. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect it from over here too. Then you got one more down here. Take that whole piece out. Okay, if you look in here, you have two transmission lines, 1, 2, and then that bottom radiator hose. So we're going to work on those now. They're 19mm. What little bit is going to drain out. And then we're going to do the other side. So go ahead and move this over here. I already broke it free. Now we just gotta get this hose. so just clean up any mess that you may have made. Go ahead and disconnect the hose going to your overfill tank. So if you look down in there, there is one, I believe it's a 12 millimeter. We're going to take that out. Okay, so that was actually a 13 millimeter. So lift this up and put it to the side. Don't strain your cables. Now we're going to remove the radiator from the condenser. So it's just held on by 1 and 2. Alright, so we're going to pick up on our condenser, kind of move it out of the way. And just lift it up and out. Here's why you need to pick up the condenser first, because it slips into this groove right here and over on that side. So you pick it up, take it out of that, and then lift out your radiator. Otherwise your radiator will keep trying to pull up your condenser with it. Assembly is just reverse of disassembly. Also, these little pegs go right down in here. One will go right there, one goes right there. So we're just going to stick this right back in. So now we're just going to go connect these again. Do the other side. Okay, so we're just going to stick this back in here, bolt it back up. The new radiator will come with these adapters. So here's your fitting, and right here around this is a little clip, and while it's on there, it's kind of easy to get out while it's on there. While it's not, I don't have much pressure pushing this clip out, but you just dig in there with a pick. You just pull it right out. You just pull it all the way out, and then the whole fitting will come off, and we'll put the new fitting on. Once you got it, stick it out a little bit. Pry it right out. Once you got it pried out, pull it right off. Okay, once you got those lines back on and the hose back on, you just want to put this back. All these are 13 and 10 millimeter. Okay, from here we want to put this back on the battery cover. It's got the two 10 millimeters and the one 10 millimeter nut. Got one more right here. Okay, here comes the fun part. You want to get these lined up. They have to go in together. Okay, so now that get this into place, there's a little hole that it snaps into. And we're just going to turn it. Back in with it. There we go. Okay, now we get our tools and tighten that back up. There we go. Now we're going to go the opposite way. So with our holding tool, we're going to go to the left, and with our other wrench, we're going to go to the right. There we go. Now we're going to put these 13 millimeters back in here. Get it good and tight. We'll do the other side now. got that done. Okay, so we want to go ahead and get these back in there. Get the other side. You want to make sure that little middle tab is in there. Okay, so now you just want to take this, goes to your overfill tank, you're going to plug it right back up there, and now we just got to connect this hose right here and fill it up. It's a good idea to go ahead and inspect your hoses. This one doesn't look too bad, but it's better to replace it now than get it on there and have a leak. Okay, now we're just going to get these to go back down. It's a good thing to do with these is just rock it back and forth. It'll help it slide down. There we go. We got that one secured on there. This one needs to be moved up just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so if you look at this one, it didn't release. So on this back side here, right there, we're just going to take a screwdriver and pop it free. There we go, now it's tight again. Okay, here comes the final part of this whole thing. I'm using the Lyle funnel. This is good because you can block it off, put the extra in your overfill tank or whatever. Also, air floats to the top. This is the highest point, so if we keep this filled, then it should bleed out all the air from the system. Just find what adapter goes on there. In this case, mine is D. We find the fitting for D. Here it is. So what we'll do, stick this up through there, stick that in there. This will give us a nice seal. Now we're ready to go ahead and start filling it up. When getting your coolant, you can get this 50-50 mix, so you don't have to do anything. You can just straight pour it in there. Or you can save money, and for the same amount, you can buy a whole thing of this, and you got to mix it with water, but it'll make 2 of these for 1 of this. Just going to release this. Okay, so I needed 2 gallons of that. So we're going to crank it up now and let the air bubbles come on out. Okay, so you want to turn on the heat to full blast when you do this. That way it goes through your heater core. Now we're just going to sit so there's no more bubbles. During this time, you want to go ahead and just inspect it for any leaks. Even though it's a brand new radiator, you never know. And as you can see, the bubbles have stopped. So here's the cool part about this tool. You stick this little stopper in there. Now we can transfer the leftover to the reservoir. Go ahead and undo this. We're all good and topped off now. Okay, so the new radiator did not come with a cap, so we'll just take it off the old one. Now you just want to clean down everything and you're good to go. And that's all there is to changing a radiator in this. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.